Honestly, I don't even know why I'm taking the time to do this, but as a Red Sox fan, I guess, I feel obligated to say that this has been an absolutely abysmal offseason. That's coming off another offseason last year that wasn't really that great. And I'm not even going to talk about the Mookie Betts trade yet, but they did absolutely nothing. I mean, there's literally nothing for me to talk about. For the longest time, I ignored this topic because there was no reason to talk about it. The biggest stories of the Red Sox offseason have been Alex Cora leaving the team because of the whole Astros scandal, and now the Mookie Betts trade. And before that, there was nothing other than the possibility they might trade him. And, they just let half their players go. I don't even know if Brock Holt is still on the team. Apparently they re-signed Mitch Moreland. Whoop-de-frickin-do. I don't know who's in the rotation. I don't know who's in the bullpen. I didn't feel good about either of those things last year, and they did nothing to address them. I'm not saying they got to go out and get Garrett Cole. They don't have to go out and get the biggest, whatever, and spend $100 million or $200 million, but damn it, get somebody. I could think of, off the top of my head, just a few players that might have improved the team. Neil Walker, Yasmani Grandal, any decent player. Again, I'm not saying they had to go out and break the bank. Nick Castellanos, even with the Mookie Betts trade, which I know I really want to get to it, but I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to pretty much just go through the offseason from November to now. Nothing. Nothing happened in it. So, no, it just maddens me that, they had a team last year that had glaring flaws, really. I mean, not unfixable flaws, but big flaws in the bullpen. They did nothing. They didn't sign a single reliever that I know of. I mean, bullpen, admittingly, is one of the things I don't know much about in baseball. They let Rick Porcello walk. I'm not saying he was a great pitcher, but he was at least somebody. He went to the Mets for 1 year, $10 million. Dylan Betances went to the Mets for 1 year, not that much money. The Red Sox couldn't have taken a shot at Dylan Betances. They couldn't have taken a shot on. I mean, again, I'm not what do you have to lose? It's like they're purposely not doing anything. It was just maddening. Then they finally do something, and it's to trade their franchise player for junk. I mean, another pitcher and Alex Verdugo, whatever, who I didn't even know played in the major leagues. I thought he was a minor leaguer. It's just. This team just has no, even before the manager stuff and before the Mookie Betts stuff, they just had no direction. They traded David Price, which I know some fans are happy about. I don't really care personally, but who are you going to replace him with? Again, I mean, I'd feel a lot better if they had gone after Dallas Keuchel or Cole Hamels, some even an aging veteran to just plug in there. They did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. I mean, it's one thing if you try and fail. They didn't even try. They didn't even, do some ridiculous deal or sign somebody internationally. They did nothing. They didn't get creative. They didn't think. I mean, they just said, whatever. And they got rid of Mookie Betts for nothing. And yeah, I know they couldn't re-sign him. He wanted $400 million or whatever. And you know what? Good for him, because I actually don't think he's worth $400 million. I think he's a really good player, above average player. I'm not going to say he's Mike Trout. I don't even think he should have won the MVP the year he won it. I think he's a really good player. Good power, good stolen bases, good all that stuff. Great. He's going to be good in the Dodgers lineup because they got a lot of hitters around him. And speaking of that, the Red Sox couldn't have gotten one of the outfielders from the Dodgers. They have way too many outfielders already. They got Mookie Betts, and then they immediately shipped off Jock Peterson because they have too many outfielders. The Red Sox couldn't have gotten Jock Peterson. Is his salary that high? Is he that bad a player that he wouldn't have been worth at least taking a shot on when they've already gotten nobody? So basically, they don't care. So why should I? Why should I? Why should I watch this team that doesn't care? Throw Chris Sale out there and maybe Nathan Eovaldi if he has an okay season. I don't even know. Eduardo Rodriguez, people are high on him. I think he's going to be okay. I think last season was kind of a fluke as far as him winning 19 games or whatever it was. I think he'll be decent, but I mean, if your best pitchers are going to be Erod and Chris Sale, I mean, I like Chris Sale, but that's not going to get it done. They still have a good middle of the lineup with Devers and Bogarts and Martinez, but again, I don't even know who's playing first base for them most days. Could have gotten Todd Frazier, Neil Walker, a few other people. I didn't think they'd get Josh Donaldson, but just they could have gotten some players to kind of solidify some of these positions. Plenty of other players were out there, older players, younger players, whatever. I mean, people want to scoff at me if I say that, but who did they get? They didn't get anybody. I don't know who the backup catcher is. I mean, I don't even know my own team. It's probably going to be a quarter Pawtucket players, so good luck to the Red Sox. I'm so frustrated. And it's just kind of a microcosm of this past decade. You look at the Red Sox going back to 2010, they've won 2 World Series. They finished in last place 3 times. They've, had 4 different managers. They, had a few decent seasons in between there, and it's just like everything in between. They had the collapse in 2011, the disaster in 2012, the World Series 2013. They get rid of Lester because they can't afford him or whatever. That whole mess. Disassembling the starting rotation. They've had seems like a million different closers. Seems like every year they have a different closer. They had, say what you will about Craig Kimbrell. He was at least a decent closer for a few years, and then they didn't re-sign him and replaced him with nobody. I don't know who the closer's going to be this year. I don't think it's going to matter because I don't think they're going to be in a lot of close games this year. I think if they win games, it's going to be because of the bats, but they'll mostly probably be down a few runs at the end of the game anyway. So that's my thoughts on it. I really don't want to talk about it anymore because they don't want to talk about it. I thought the Celtics were discouraging when they don't make trades at the deadline. At least they're slowly improving their team. The Red Sox don't seem to have any idea what they're doing. And when they finally bring up a good player like Mookie Betts and he actually turns into what they say he's going to turn into, they don't keep him. So what's the point? So then we're just going to wait, I guess. And Devers will become really good, and then we'll get rid of him. But we'll keep all the other lousy prospects in hopes that they become something good. I mean, it's such a freaking waste of time. And they change their direction every couple of years. A couple of years from now, they'll sign somebody to a $400 million contract that isn't even as good as Betts. They'll sign some, I can't even think of the name right now. They'll sign like Chris Bryant or something, some huge deal. I have no idea what they're going to do. But who does? Because they could have their 8th general manager by then. So, anyway, that's my thoughts. Yeah, Bobby out.